Hello. Before we start, I would like to encourage the medical information channel. It's going to give you more and more important and valuable content as the days go by. So please subscribe, click on your bell notifications so that you can receive notifications of new videos when they drop. Like the videos, share the videos with all your networks. So you're welcome once again. I'm Dr. HMS, talking to you about the dangers of instant noodles. I know that all of us are victims of eating instant noodles quite often, a lot of the time. And so I would like to educate all of you on some of the instant noodle dangers that we may have heard of, but we have not taken seriously. And this will be the first part of some of the facts that we need to know about eating instant noodles in large quantities. So instant noodles are a popular type of food invented in Japan, and it was actually launched in 1958. Noodles are usually sold in a pre-cooked and dried block form, usually accompanied in its packet. A lot of the times you actually have a separate packet within that big packet containing the noodles, and that separate packet contains flavoring powder and or seasoning oil. There's also another variety of noodles, which are usually cooked in the cup, and it can be reheated or eaten straight from its pack. Now, the common dried noodles are usually cooked or soaked in boiling water before eating, and they can also be consumed dry as well. So commonly, what is commonly used in making the dried noodles are wheat flour, palm oil, and salt, while the common flavoring ingredients in that separate small pack within the pack of the instant noodles, usually salt, monosodium glutamate, the seasoning itself, and then some sugar. The dried noodle block was actually originally created by flash frying cooked noodles, and this is still the main method used in Asian countries to produce these noodles. However, the air-dried noodle blocks are more favored in the Western countries. So, what are some of the facts about instant noodles? Because instant noodles are cheap, widely available, and tasty, the instant noodles are consumed in large quantities worldwide. Yes, it's not only in your country. So we've all heard of the MSG, otherwise known as monosodium glutamate. It's actually a flavor enhancer which is contained in those small flavoring packets that accompany the seasoning powder. Now, this MSG or monosodium glutamate can trigger an allergic reaction in 1 to 2% of the world population. And it has been reported that since the 1960s, people who regularly consumed MSG-rich Asian cuisine had actually reported severe and excessive sweating and flushing episodes. So this group of symptoms eventually came to be known as the Chinese restaurant syndrome, believe it or not. So as I mentioned before, the flavoring packet within the pack of the noodles also contains a high amount of sodium because of the salt content in this flavoring packet. And this is just similar to other processed foods that we find in various supermarkets across the world. In fact, a single serving of instant noodles can have as much as 397 to 3,678 milligrams of sodium per each 100 gram of serving of noodles. Now, this is not good for your health at all. So considering this recommendation, we should be aware that the World Health Organization, otherwise known as the WHO, consuming even just one dose could actually exceed the recommended limits. We're going to talk of intake of sodium every day very soon. However, if we consume this salt in large quantities, the sodium in large quantities, it increases the risk of developing a condition known as the metabolic syndrome. Now, this metabolic syndrome is a condition that increases the risk of developing heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Remember the video we have on the major causes of death in 2021? The WHO and most health authorities recommend between 1,500 milligrams or 1.5 grams and 2,300 milligrams or 2.3 grams of sodium per day for heart health. Now, 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day is equivalent to about 1 teaspoon of table salt. I know that we're all shocked by this because we all know that we consume much larger amounts of salt per day in our food. So the noodles, as mentioned before, are made from refined flour, and frequent consumption of refined flour can trigger obesity because most noodles are made up of maida. Now, this maida is milled, refined, and a bleached version of wheat flour, which is white flour. And the nutrient-rich parts of a wheat kernel are actually the germ and the bran, and these are not contained within the noodles. Unfortunately, these are both removed during the production of this refined flour, and all that remains in the form of starch, which is a form of carbohydrates that doesn't have nutrients, is what is contained in the noodles. As mentioned before, there is a high amount of sugar within the flavoring packets, and these high consumption of instant noodles can actually increase the risk of excess sugar in the bloodstream. The body converts, of course, this excess sugar into fat and stores it in the body for later use. Now, this can cause obesity, as mentioned, another risk factor for heart disease. Heart disease is one of the major causes, or in fact, coronary heart disease is the first cause of death in the world. Noodles have poor diet quality. They're low in fiber and protein, vitamins, and essential minerals. Even though noodles are a low-calorie food, instant noodles are low in fiber and protein, which may not make them a good option for weight loss. Protein has been proven to increase the feelings of fullness and reducing hunger, while fiber moves slowly through the digestive system. Thus, they both promote a feeling of fullness. So considering the low protein and fiber levels in instant noodles, consuming them regularly is unlikely to satisfy hunger or make a person feel full. In addition, a diet that is low in fiber is associated with a higher risk of digestive system conditions like constipation and diverticular disease. It also reduces healthy gut bacteria. Instant noodles would require additional protein and vegetables to actually add nutritional value. I know a lot of us do this. We chop up vegetables, onions, green beans, green peas, tomatoes, carrots to make the noodles taste healthier. So adding these protein and vegetables could actually add some form of nutritional value to our protein, to our noodle intake. Instant noodle consumers have actually also been found to have a significantly lower intake of protein, calcium, vitamin C, phosphorus, iron, niacin, and vitamin A, while having an increased intake of sodium and calorie intake. As mentioned, we've mentioned the high levels of total fat and saturated fat in instant noodles because these instant noodles are sometimes deep fried in oil, especially palm oil. They also have a degree to be, they also are especially harmful as they elevate the low density lipoprotein levels or the bad cholesterol, and in turn further increases the risk of developing heart disease. The World Health Organization again recommends avoiding dietary saturated fats to reduce this bad cholesterol. Insulin sensitivity and abdominal fat levels have improved in people who switched from saturated fats to polyunsaturated fats, PUFA. This is why instant noodles are often criticized as unhealthy or junk food because of all the things I have mentioned in this presentation. Nutrition experts have been known to say that eating instant noodles once or twice a month is actually not a problem, but a few times a week can be very detrimental to one's health. So stay tuned on part 2 on the dangers of eating instant noodles coming very soon. So do subscribe to the Medical Information channel, click on your bell notifications, share. See you next time. Bye.